Some of us deal with that as well.
No, look, I think he's working with a pest right now.
I got it too.
I've got the solution for that pest. Sonia's bug spray. I'll tell you, my balls are a little worn out because I've been using it, but this is amazing. And if you have any problem with mosquitoes or anything that's bothering you, ticks, someone was telling me that there's ticks in the grass in Mexico, and that's why I need to keep my grass super low. But no critters go in my backyard, and ticks kind of need a killer to go on. But anyways, that's a whole other story. But I'll tell you what, this stuff feels like lotion. You'll put it on, and you will not believe it's going to work because it feels so good. You're going to think that this can't be working because it just feels like lotion, but it works. It stops anything from biting you, even large animals. All right?
Yeah.
Get it on bugsspray.com.
Yeah, and both Andre and I, Derek likes to tease us talking about how much land we have, but we do have water behind our property, so mosquitoes love our property.
And all the acreage they got, because I don't know if y'all know, between the two of them, they got about 75 acres and 2 mules. So I just want y'all to know they got it.
I think with that, between the two of us, we own about 80% of the land in the United States of America.
I think they do. I mean, and Andre got a considerable amount of Mexico. They named a couple of restaurants after Andre. That's why he went out there. But this is dope. Y'all make sure y'all get that product. Sonia is putting commentary about the code Andre the Farmer 15 for a discount. We know times is hard, and we don't want to bug your wallet. Right? So go ahead and make sure you use that today.
Hey, someone mentioned something about poor Andre was torn apart after using condensed milk in an avocado drink. Yes, it was crazy. Like, I swear, like, you put any recipe on there and someone's going to come along and tell you how evil your ingredients are and how you should make this thing taste like crap. But yeah, I had to deal with a lot of that on there. But I'm trying to explain to people, no, this is not like something that you just drink all day, every day. This is a treat. It's supposed to taste good. There's going to be sugar in it. There's going to be calories in it.
No.
Because this is something supposed to be delicious. But some people just can't get that.
So, look, I'm glad you mentioned that because my mother-in-law, I love her to death, but sometimes she would experiment with smoothies, right? And she would put weird things in there, like, here, taste this. And before I knew any better, she would be like, hey, taste this. And I'm like, oh, what is that? Oh, I put some garlic in there. That's going to make the smoothie healthy for you. I was like, garlic? Like, no, it's supposed to taste good. Like, can't put blueberries, strawberries, any garlic? No.
Yeah.
Got to taste good.
Yeah, exactly. Like I tell people, I don't eat anything because it's healthy. I eat things that taste good that are healthy. But if you tell me I've got to eat something that tastes like crap because it's healthy, no, I'm going to find whatever nutrients I need from an alternate source. There's never just one thing that can get you what you need.
Yeah.
So pests. We're supposed to talk about pests today, guys.
Yeah, that's right. Pests. All right. So, okay, question for you, Andre. We're all in different zones, right? What's your biggest pest problem on your property? I think I know the answers to this.
I'm going to start with my mammal pest, which is squirrels. And I have to lump squirrels and raccoons together because I feel like a lot of what I blame on squirrels might actually be raccoons too.
Could be.
So those are my two sort of biggest mammalian pests.
Yeah.
What about you guys? Let's start with mammals. Let's work our way down. Let's start with mammals. What's your biggest pest?
Honestly, when it comes to the mammals, I really don't have any problems with the mammals. I mean, because you know me, Mr. Rogers of the Garden, I'm like, kumbaya, everybody come on over, it's a party. I mean, I do have armadillos that come and visit me frequently. And honestly, all the armadillos really do is they just pull up my walkway, my walking path. But that just tells me that I need to put some actual rock down and maybe they'll stop digging it up. So I'm not really mad at the armadillos like talking about.
So here's what I envision happening at Gray's house. So the chipmunks, they gather together, they come up his driveway, they knock on the door, and Gray comes out, and they jump on his shoulder and run up his arm and give him kisses. And he says, and they say, "How can we help you in the garden today, sir?" And you give them little assignments and tell them to go plant some nuts here and do things like that. And that's the extent of your sort of mammal interaction.
Basically, I mean, I have had squirrels plant seeds. They literally have. I didn't ask them, but they have planted seeds. I'm like, look at him, he digging up. Okay, he planting that tomato over there. I'm not even mad at him. Do your thing, brother.
Yeah. See, I'm straight at war with these things here. You know, like here's my idea. I want to get like a baby squirrel, and I want to train that baby squirrel to be a squirrel assassin. I want to train that baby squirrel to just get in with other squirrels, and then accidents happen. You know, like you just train that squirrel to just take out other squirrels. That's my ultimate goal. But I'll tell you, this is my honest way that I've learned to deal with squirrels. So you want to make a John Wick squirrel? Exactly. I would love to have a John Wick squirrel. I would love to have a John Wick squirrel. But honestly, here's what I have done. All right. I've realized that the way to defeat squirrels is to grow more than they can eat. You just gotta grow more than they can eat, and that's kind of what I did this year with the mangoes. You know, I feel like I've finally gotten to a point where we can exceed. They can have some, I can have some, and we can all be cool because there's enough mangoes out there for me.
Yep. You know, I'm glad you say that. I've been quiet for a while because I was trying to fix some stuff on the YouTube. So I'm going to go ahead and jump here. I'm going to tell you a war story that I've had with squirrels. Because, you know, I think we can talk about pest solutions. I know people got questions on what to do inside and outside. But sharing these war stories is what will really help people see that we just like you, except for, you know, the rest of us that don't have 120 acres of land between the two of them like these other two here. So when it comes to squirrels, this is an alleged story I heard from this guy from New Bern, North Carolina, out east. He had this beautiful garden in his grandmother's yard. It was phenomenal, right? Beautiful thyme, mint. The yard was taken care of by this elderly woman before his grandmother, not mine. His grandmother got it, and he just loved to put stuff out there. And one day his grandmama was like, you know what? I want to see some bird feeders. So they went to the store. He was like 17 at the time. They got the bird feeders, put them all up everywhere. And 20 squirrels, and this is probably an overstatement, 20 squirrels jumped onto this bird feeder, this wooden bird feeder, chewed it out. So like you, he thought maybe I could just feed them all. We got pine cones all over the yard. We can just cover them in peanut butter and bird seed. It's going to be fantastic. If we do 20 to 30 of them, surely the squirrels won't eat them all. And the squirrels took every last one of them. Everyone disappeared. His brother made one with this fancy ornate hook. He thought the neighborhood kids stole it. He found it later when he was raking the yard, and he was pissy as can be. So he mixed up a concoction, as it were, and took out a neighborhood of squirrels. And anytime he travels back to New Bern, all the wildlife seems to shift. So, you know, that's just a war story I heard one time before, potentially by some guy. You know, he took out a neighborhood of squirrels. So I don't think you can feed them.
There are ways to deal with squirrels that are non-lethal, right?
There are.
I've tried a lot of different solutions, and a lot of these things work for a while. But squirrels are mammals, means they're fairly smart, and they figure things out. Well, one of the things you can do is have decoys around, right? You can have the fake snakes, the fake owls, you know, all the little fake predators around, and you have to move them regularly because if they sit in one spot for a long time, then the squirrels realize that this is nothing at all. But that's one of the things I've done. I thought one of the fake snakes worked pretty good. But you just have to move them around a lot, and you should probably not be a person that's terrified of snakes because you're going to forget that you put fake snakes in your car. You're going to lose it. Yes, you could definitely eat the squirrels too. I'm not going to deny or confirm that I eat a squirrel from my backyard or not, but
don't tell me that, and you don't eat watermelon. Keep going.
It's not that I don't eat watermelon. It's like watermelon is just like a literal neutral food for me. It's like if it's there, like I may or may not have a piece, but I get nothing from it. You know,
look,
it's just.
Derek, I'm gonna have a party, and y'all gonna come to my house, and I'm gonna have a platter full of watermelon just for Andre.
You please, and I'm gonna sit there and watch and be like, I hope you eat this. I'm a
I'm
fast.
totally comfortable walking right past it, so that'd be perfect.
I'll follow you with it.
Now, groundhogs, like for most people, groundhogs, from my understanding, we don't really have them here. Do you guys have them where you are?
I don't, but I've helped a lot of people with groundhog and vole problems too.
Okay, what have you told them about that?
Mechanical barriers. Mechanical barriers. Now, the sad thing about it is you kind of have to know beforehand that you have a groundhog problem. This is one of those hindsight is 20/20, not 50/50, 20/20. So if you realize you have that groundhog problem, you can, before you put your raised beds in ground or your square footage gardening, 2 feet down, you put in some wire mesh, not even chicken wire. I mean, like almost looking like chain mail type of stuff. You need to put down because groundhogs will pull that chicken wire right out. You put that down first, then you plan your garden. But like I said, you kind of have to have that precognitive intuition to be like, oh, I'm gonna have groundhogs and voles.
Yeah.
I mean, other than that, trapping.
Yeah.
And those traps do kill.
But yeah, when you trap, even when you don't use the lethal ones, like here in North Carolina, you can't release them anywhere else. So if you find them on your property, they just have to be there. So you can only release them onto your property, or release them to Jesus. That's it.
Release them to Jesus. So someone asked a quick question. They asked if they ever grow Everglades tomatoes. Yes, I have. To the point now where they just grow. They voluntarily grow in my garden every year. And they grow like crazy. If you're living in warm climates, they're super easy to grow. Super easy.
I never had that before. We had a person on YouTube also comment every year, the squirrels in their backyard eats all their apples, but they don't touch their peaches or plums. And that's because squirrels are little demons. I want you all to keep this in mind. They're little evil bio things.
They are. So, so groundhogs. The other thing is for a lot of your pests that sort of sniff around your garden, sometimes cayenne peppers. They even have things at Home Depot that are supposed to deter rodents, powders and things like that you can sprinkle around. I'm not sure what the composition of those things are, so I can't really recommend them or not. But I would look into the composition of them to find out if it's food safe or not. But like things like cayenne peppers and just things that critters don't like cayenne pepper, cinnamon, black pepper. Like a lot of these things are things that irritate the nose of some of these critters when you're sniffing around. If you circle your garden with that, it will help deter them temporarily. But as soon as it rains or you water your garden a couple times, most of that stuff is gone.
They're coming right back, yeah. I think one of the active ingredients that I've seen in one of those kind of rid all kind of pest type of things is cedarwood oil. So I think that's one of the active ingredients because I don't know. I love the smell of cedar, but apparently a lot of these pests that we're talking about don't really care for it. So that's one of the active ingredients I did see and I can retain right off the top of my head.
Wolf urine does not work. Smells beyond. Okay, all right. Wolf urine. I've heard of people using predator urine as well as a thing. I don't know. I feel like these squirrels, like if they don't have these natural predators around, then they tend to not really care that much that they smell a wolf that they probably don't.
They probably know like the packaged stuff, and this isn't sound gross. Probably isn't like the fresh stuff. Like the fresh things, I've seen the wolf, and that illusion is different, or even the decoys is probably different than whatever packaged product they got that's shelf stable.
Yeah, planting mint or dill, I think that's going to deter some of the insect pests.
Yeah.
But squirrels are not going to not eat a tomato because it's next to a dill or a mint.
Yeah, they'll still come up in if they really are one, then they'll figure out a way. So I mean, and that's the thing. Now I know we're talking anti-squirrel, but I love squirrels because of how intelligent they are. Look, got twitches over there.
Yeah,
I love
I
the fact that they're
understand
problem solvers. So for some, that can be, that could be a nuisance. I just love their level of intelligence. So yeah, I'm on Kumbaya, singing to the squirrels in the morning, drinking my coffee.
Like a Disney movie.
What was that question on YouTube there about cedar wood?
So they were asking if they had cedar wood near their apple tree, would that help? So I guess they're asking if cut wood or even a cedar tree would that help to prevent? And all of these things that we're saying that are natural, it depends on a lot of different factors. Like a lot of people will swear by mint keeping the rodents away, and these smells keeping the rodents away. And some of it will be just like masking the scent of something they're looking for. But I had a slew of rabbits, which are also in that general old mints are supposed to keep them away thing, and I had chocolate mint growing everywhere. And they were still, and other mints growing everywhere, and they were still eating my leaf. So with some of these things, I'll always say mechanical barrier is going to always be the best way of keeping these things.
Yeah, I mean, because I'm all about companion plant too. I know a lot of folks are recommending companion plant, and I am all about it. But when it comes to squirrels, it only goes so far. It will help with a lot of pests, but with squirrels, I'm really like, let's go to the stage. You can do your companion planting, but also come with some kind of mechanical barrier because they still will get around.
Yeah. Someone asked about lemongrass. There was 11A, Miami area. Boy, lemongrass, I find it really hard to kill. Like if I take out a clump of lemongrass and stick it somewhere else, and then another clump of lemongrass, like, and I don't take care of my lemongrass at all. I don't think Miami's too hot for me to grow it. I'm in Orlando. I would just try again. Just maybe initially don't let it dry out. But once it's established, it's a really hard thing to kill. You know, it's just like most other grasses.
But are they keeping it in a pot, or are they trying to plant it in the ground? That might be the variable there. Yeah, because if you just try to keep it in a container, maybe that might be the problem, and it's drying out so soon.
Yeah. So Mercy said the plant items, the salvias, lavender, clove planters said, yeah, that is great for insect pests because insect pests are generally going on scent. But those squirrels, when they see a mango or they see a fruit, like they're going on sight. Right, they're going on scent too. Some people are mostly going on scent. They see something that they want to eat, and they're going to go get that thing, and they don't care what other smells are around. But that's great for what we're going to talk about later, which is the insect pest, which we can keep away with those things.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, sure. So, what other mammals? Any other mammals? Oh, speaking of mammals, again, I was talking to my mother-in-law, and she came across a snake. Because she has an apartment here on my house. Because like Derek says, I have 375 acres, and she came across a snake, and she was like, "Oh, you got to do something about these snakes." I was like, "Well, if we get rid of the snake, then that means we're going to get an influx of field mice and rats. The snakes are here for a reason. Now, it was a black rat snake, but when we were talking about those predatory animals to have around, like the snakes and like the owls, that's one place I'm lucky because I have literally all of that in my backyard. I mean, I have a barred owl I literally see every morning. I'm like, hey, time for you to go to sleep. She's out late tonight. So they take care of those pets. It's like the circle of life out there.
Yeah, that's another thing you can do is encourage predators to be in your backyard. I'm trying to get some stray cats back there to handle these squirrels. But the problem with cats is they eat too many birds and they kill too many birds. So I'm not trying to do that. But having snakes is a good thing. A lot of times people are asking, how do I keep snakes away? How do I avoid snakes? No, you want snakes. Snakes are your friend. The more snakes, I wish I had 10 times, not even 10 times. I wish I had 20, 30, 40 times the amount of snakes that I have in my backyard. I wish that I saw snakes in my backyard every single day. I wish that I had to dodge snakes while I was walking through my backyard.
You've lost a lot of people at this point. There's a lot of people who are slowly starting to leave. They were like, this man has lost his ever-loving mind. He just said, I want to have so many snakes. But I think the thing that we have to think about, and I told this to my aunt, we'll be like, oh, I saw a snake in the backyard. You saw one snake because it was probably chasing something that you didn't want to see, like a mouse, like a possum, like a raccoon or something, any of those things. But
snake is chasing a raccoon.
Yeah, but if you
like that's a big old snake.
Hey, I'm here in the country. Okay, the things is bigger here. They ain't got nothing to do but to get big. But when it comes to that, if you did see 40 times the snakes that you usually see, you would eventually see none because they would get all the food and they would leave. They would leave and they would go on about their business.
Yeah.
Somebody in the chat says Dr. Jones has left the chat. I love it. Like snakes. Good one.
All right. So, speaking of reptiles, I think that for the most part, reptiles are good. There's only one group of reptiles that I feel, well, there's two groups of reptiles that I feel are real pests for us.
Okay, what's that?
One of them is iguanas. For people in South Florida, iguanas are a pain in the butt. They eat their fruit. They are a hassle. And I think the best solution is to eat them.
Oh my God.
Listen, I had iguana when I was in Trinidad, and it is absolutely delicious.
Wow. You are the true Crocodile Dundee. I love it.
I love that for you, I guess.
What?
I have had alligator before, but I've never had iguana. That's a new one.
I've had rattlesnake. I have not had alligator or shark or iguana.
I have not had iguana. I mean, I've not had rattlesnake. Sorry, I've not had rattlesnake.
I've had rattlesnake here. It was in a corn dog. It was rattlesnake and ostrich are very good.
Oh no, ostrich is great. I had an ostrich steak. It was unbelievable.
Maybe they cooked it different than the ostrich burgers I had, but it was so salty. As you go, it was salty where I got it from. I didn't cook that.
Okay.
It was so salty.
I think my ostrich steak was insane.
We love to see it. And when you were cooking that ostrich, did you cut that meat up yourself?
I did.
With your own tools?
Well, it was a cut, like it was a steak. So
yeah, but you cut it with a fork and knife.
Yes, I did.
Because when you are using tools, you have to make sure they're doing it in a good way. See, he forgot what happened. He had been here in a week.
Listen,
No, I didn't
tell you what happened. I just felt like you took a left turn. I felt like you were right in the right direction, and then you went.
Yeah, I did. When I get y'all in the car one day, y'all gonna be so happy driving with me. I'm the best driver in the world. Get you some Retain today, because with this Retain, you can make sure that all of your cuts matter. Retain, you can get it on the Walmarts and on the Amazon and the RetainSpray.com. Somebody put that in the comments. Retain, Retain, spray.com, because it cuts, it lubes, it stops rust, and it sanitizes. Now, y'all see Andre and Gray making cuts and props all the time. I just saw somebody talking about a class they took with Andre where they got to do their own grafting from his personal mangoes or something. I saw somebody talk about that. They were excited. And I know he uses this product to give himself some great success. So if you are growing your plants, get you some Retain today. Again, it's a good thing to spray on your tools when you're propagating, when you're making cuts, so you don't give your plants disease. Get you some Retain today. Keep going, Andre.
All natural, and it it lubricates and disinfects your tools at the same time. But you know where I thought you were going?
That's where I thought you was going too.
Food. We were talking about steaks. We were talking about the deliciousness of the steak.
Oh, you thought you could predict me. Oh, you thought you could predict.
To the sweet and spicy pepper sauce, my sweet and spicy pepper sauce. That's where I thought you were going with that.
See, you can never predict where I'm going. I'm unpredictable, like that Jamie Foxx song. So this is some good stuff. For those of you also get it, you can get this on AndreTheFarmer.com, and you can also get this on Amazon, right, or Walmart. Did I make that up?
It's Amazon. It's all natural. Got 8 different fruits and vegetables in it, and it's absolutely delicious. I guarantee you're gonna love it. All right?
Yes, get you some. So
I thought he was going there too, but no, he went.
Yeah.
Once I said cuts,
you're eating with tools.
Yeah, you eating with utensils, tools, cuts.
Yeah,
that's where we're going.
Wash my dishes with Retain.
You should.
I love it. All right. So the other reptiles, like I said, with the iguanas, we're one reptile, right? And
what's the other one?
Iguanas, they're invasive, so you are allowed to remove them in any manner you see fit. And I suggest that you eat them. But anyways, if you don't want to eat them, then do something else. But they are invasive, and you are allowed to dispose of them in any way you see fit. All right. And the second reptile. Yes, you guys guess what the second reptile is that's a nuisance? A group of reptiles. It's a large group of reptiles.
I don't know. because I don't have any reptiles that bother me here, so I don't know what it is. I just hate seeing lizards. I don't have nothing.
Oh, I've got a bunch of lizards. I got skinks and all kinds of lizards out there. I love them.
Yeah, they just
Also
swallow
the
my
same thing. Well, the second group of reptiles are birds.
Oh, I see
That's
what you
true.
mean there.
They're reptiles.
You're right.
So birds are another possible pest in your garden. You know, I know when I first started growing blueberries, I stopped growing blueberries because I didn't want to have to put nets over my blueberries because the birds started eating the blueberries year 2. So, you know, for birds, I find that netting is really the main thing.
Yeah. Honestly, that's the only thing I can recommend is netting. But you have to put your netting in a position. See, that's the double-edged sword. When you're using the netting, you're also cutting out your pollinators too. So,
But don't you
you
put
know
the
what?
netting on like after your fruits have already been pollinated? So once you see fruit set, then you net. You know?
Maybe. But you know what I've done? Now, going back to what we were saying about the squirrels, I feed my birds. I actually feed my birds. I do. Yes, laughing at me.
I'm not laughing at you. I'm laughing at you too. Go ahead.
I feed the birds because birds are actually natural pesticides. I mean, they will go through and clean out a lot of pests in your garden. So, hey, yeah, I might lose a few blueberries in the process, but I'm like, that's the price of playing the game, you know. But I do put out bird feed so that they have something, and I put out a watering source for them too, because I want them to come to my garden like, hey, eat them hornworms. Because did you know? Okay, both of you. Do you know that a hornworm
Yes.
can defoliate a tomato within 24 hours, like the whole plant?
I'm sure it can. I've seen it.
I know for sure. I've seen it.
Wow, I mean, that happened to me, you know, because I had my basil around my tomatoes, but I didn't have it on one side. I went out there the next morning, not a leaf on that bad boy from one hornworm.
Yep. I agree with the bird thing too, because we have a couple bird feeders here as well. And having birds in your garden is amazing because birds have a crazy, amazing vision, and they can pick a lot of those insects out, you know, individually that are really hard for us to see. So definitely encourage birds. If we're talking about using predators, having wasps in your garden is another great thing as well too. And I see a lot of people always want to kill wasps or get rid of a wasp nest every time they see it. Wasps are amazing insect predators, and they're good pollinators too.
Unless they're yellow jackets. Yellow jackets are jerks. I don't care what nobody says. Yellow jackets are jerks.
Now, yellow jackets are demons, but wasps, y'all, I always say this, and I said this at the event I was at this past week. Wasps get a bad rap like black women. We look at them like they are aggressive and this and that and all these things, but wasps literally don't bother you. Now, I did have a nest that I had to get rid of on my patio, but if I was in like a yard space and I could just give them their own corner, it's not going to bother me and not going to bother them, have it. Like, enjoy it because they do protect your plants. They do things for, I'm sorry, I got a little distracted. They do little things for you and they take good care of you, okay? So please work with your pollinators when you can.
I would argue that I would rather have more wasps in my garden than honeybees.
No, that's true.
Well, because they serve dual purpose. Now, granted, their bodies are slick, so they can't pollinate as well as a honeybee could, because they have, you know, honeybees have that fuzziness. That's why they don't pollinate so much. But the fact that a lot of your parasitic wasps, they're going to be the ones that's also pollinating and taking out other pests. So dual duty, you know.
And also, wasps are not going to be so plant specific, right? So, like, if your honeybees are onto a specific plant that's like a mile away from your house, they're not coming for anything in your garden. They're only going to that thing, you know. And I've had honeybees. I raised honeybees for 5 years, and that's one of the things I learned. I thought, well, if I have my own bees here, oh, everything's getting pollinated. Meanwhile, I'd have a star fruit that'd be like right next to the hive, not a single bee on it. They're not even touching it because they found a food source. And once they find a source, they're very specific about what they're getting. They're going to get all their pollen, all their honey, all their nectar from that one source. Until that source finishes out, then they're going to find another large source.
Derek, who do honeybees sound like to you that's in our immediate friend group right now? They're very specific on what they like to eat. Who does that sound like to you?
You know, I can't put my finger on it, but I don't know. I know that I've never seen a honeybee touch a watermelon, but you know what's that to say about me? I don't know. I don't know. So we got
I don't think I'm
some.
I think I'm very adventurous in the things that I eat. Because when it comes to like fruits and meats, I'll eat all kinds of it. I'll eat every animal.
Yes, but not every fruit. So that's great. We have the people in the comments who are saying the YouTube comments are going wild. Don't look at them; it will distract them. But geez, out of you. All roundworms good in garden areas. That's from too humble to stumble. Praise God. Are roundworms good in garden areas?
I'm not familiar. Like, what kind of roundworms?
That's a very good question.
Yeah, let's get a follow up to that.
And then Enterprise is asking you, Andre, does it help to have different species of bees?
When I say honeybees, I'm talking about European honeybees, not native bees. Native bees are great. Native bees are probably the best pollinators. They will go all over the place, and those are the bees we have to save. When people say we need to save the bees, it's not honeybees we have to save. Honeybees are fine. So when people say like we got to save the bees by saving honeybees, it's like trying to save the birds by saving chickens. Like they're going to be fine because they have a use for us. It's the native bees that we need to save.
So real quick, when they were talking about roundworms, I had to, because I never called them roundworms, it caught me off guard. But they're talking about nematodes.
Nematodes, people do call them roundworms. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So if we're talking about nematodes, you have to understand there's two different classes of nematodes. There's the harmful nematodes, and then there's your beneficial. So when we're talking about the harmful ones, usually those are your root knot nematodes, and they're microscopic, so you can't see them. The only way you will see them is in the roots of your plant. You'll see all these little nodules all over your plant. That's how you know that you have root knot nematodes. And
There are big problems.
Beneficial ones.
It's a big problem here, and they're a big problem like for figs specifically. Like we're gonna go figs in the ground here. The root knot nematodes are just a pain in the butt.
Yeah, good question. But there are natural ways that you can get rid of the root knot nematodes, but it really is going to. This is not something that you're going to have to just apply a solution to. I know a lot of times in the garden, in life in general, you just want to hit the easy button. This is going to be a cultural practice. You're going to have to practice your crop rotations, making sure that you're not rotating certain crops with other crops. For instance, I think, Andre, I was talking to you. It was something that you were planting, and you wanted to plant strawberries maybe right after it. This is a while ago. This is like a year ago we were talking about this, so don't try to remember. I have a crazy brain. My brain's crazy. But I think you were doing potatoes, but then you were like, oh yeah, now I want to put some strawberries in. But I'm like, dude, don't do that because potatoes are known for having root knot nematodes in the soil afterwards. So like if you do strawberries, I mean they're highly susceptible to root knot nematodes. I wouldn't recommend. I would say put another bumper crop in there.
Yeah, I think that was a great idea because all the strawberries are gone. So you know, because it was a bed that just had a little bit of potato, but had other stuff in it too. And it was a raised bed, and it was kind of the only spot I had available. And I got these bare roots from a friend, and I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna stick them in there. And they were actually doing pretty okay. And then something came and kind of dug up the whole thing, and then they were still in there, and then all of a sudden, like they're all just dead and gone. So you're probably right. It's probably root nematodes probably took them out. So you gotta listen to people when they tell you stuff, guys. There was a question here that I saw. Oh, yeah, you can definitely get those native bee houses. They're like little tubes, like little bamboo tubes, all stuck together. And native bees are solitary, most of them. They can actually just sort of build their own little solitary hives or nests inside there and lay their eggs and such.
Yeah, my buddy on YouTube, the Gen X gardener out in Canada, he made one in his garden. It looked really sweet. I mean, he had all the little cones in there. It was really cool. That's a good DIY project. So if you're trying to get kids into gardening and being more familiar with the insects in the garden, and so forth. That's a good DIY for kids.
I'll tell you what, I think I might make one because I've got bamboo growing all over the place. You know, and it makes it perfect. It gets a bunch of little cuts and just stick them together. You know, wrap it with something and hang it up, and now you've got a native beehive. I think I might make a couple of those.
Yeah.
That's going to be a project for me one of these weekends. Maybe this weekend we'll do it.
Don't you you sometimes work with a school too, right? You volunteer like
I do. I have a couple community gardens at school. Actually, that would be a great project for us to do.
Yeah. You try it out first, but then definitely do that with the kids. I think they'll love that.
I think so. Yeah. I like it.
Then he's gonna get another 2 million followers.
He will. God bless.
I'll tell you what. I have my followers have been going down. Like in the last probably 2 months, I am down on Instagram and TikTok. I'm not down a lot, but it's not growing. It's down. So, I don't know. I'm shadow banned, I think, on TikTok right now. I'm getting like no views. Anyways, that's the one.
It's, you know, things happen. They just want to keep us down, but we're gonna keep growing.
And keep sharing. That's what we do. Look, it's about educating. It's about helping folks. So you know my philosophy. If I'm helping one garden, I feel like I've done my job. So.
All right, Red asks, can you help me understand why I have an overpopulation of ants?
When you have an overpopulation of ants, you have ants because they move into a space they think is beautiful. So ants love some good, freshly turned soil or space that is really set up to give them the food and abundance they need, especially in a garden. If there is aphids in the garden, they will then farm those aphids and get the honeydew from them and then use them. Like aphids are cows. To the ant world. So that's really one of the reasons. If they are fire ants, I say get a pesticide and treat them. If it is not fire ants, unless you suffer from anaphylactic, if you get bit by an ant, I would just say leave them be.
Right. Yeah. My thing is, if the ants are not fire ants and they're not farming some sort of pest, then I don't ignore them. I don't care about them at all.
Yeah.
And they're actually pollinators too.
Yeah.
But again, for those of you who are allergic, I do understand because I worked with a guy who got bit. It was terrible. It was the wildest story ever. I'll tell it one day, but not today. Y'all keep going.
No, someone asked, like, aren't they beneficial in the garden? Yeah, not only are they pollinators, they will help decompose. They help with decomposition of your organic matter in your soil too. So they'll help break it down. So again, going back to something that my buddy Derek says all the time, it's going to make those nutrients in your soil more readily available for your plants. So yeah, they actually help break down organic matter.
Yeah, and they can also control pests in the garden as well to some degree, depending on the type of ants they are. So I guess the last thing, well, not the last thing, but the second last thing would be like insects. Like, what's our main way to control insect pests in our gardens? And for me, it's companion planting. That's like always my first go-to.
Yeah, I'm gonna second that emotion. It's all about companion planting with me. I mean, even though I lost that one tomato plant because it got completely defoliated. I mean, on the other side of that bed, I had like 7 other tomato plants that were all surrounded by my basil. And it's so easy because if you're gardening, you're probably growing these herbs anyway. It's all in how you plant them around your garden. So, for instance, rosemary. I literally probably have about six bushes of rosemary strategically all throughout my yard. Because one, I love the way rosemary smells. It smells amazing. I cook with it, and then it does wonders for pest control.
And for those who don't understand the concept of companion planting, it's basically just planting other plants in combination with each other so that they can benefit each other. So if you're growing a whole field of tomatoes or a bed of tomatoes, an insect that eats tomatoes can smell tomatoes from a mile away because it's just tomatoes. But if you put basil, rosemary, mint, all kinds of different things in there, now there's no clear scent of tomatoes. So an insect that's looking for tomatoes may not find your bed. And if you can prevent insects from finding your bed in the first place, it's a lot easier than trying to get rid of them once they found it.
Because at the end of the day, you're creating an ecosystem. That's the thing we need to realize is that you are literally ringing the dinner bell anytime you start growing any kind of food. And that's a good sign. If things are eating your garden, that means you must be doing something right. So don't try to get rid of all of them if you can. Because I know a lot of folks will like to go in with pesticides and such. And don't get it twisted. I totally understand. There are situations when you need to go with a pesticide. Like if you own an orchard and you're growing peaches, and you're a commercial farmer, well, yeah, of course, you're going to have to come in with a pesticide because, honestly, there is no way to stop those worms from coming to your orchard because you are on your monoculture. You're growing one thing. So it's like, hey, come and eat me. So I get it. But for us gardeners, I would say if you can incorporate some companion plants. And if you have questions, ask Andre, ask Derek. We're here to help.
Yeah. And the thing about a peach orchard, too, is like, people say, I don't want any pesticide on my peaches or whatever, but you also don't want the peach with a blemish, right? So when they bring these peaches to market and they've got little holes in them, the same person said they don't want pesticides is the same person who will not pick up that peach with a little dot on it, right? So, so it's kind of a double-edged sword there for these guys.
Exactly, Mundo. And I mean, when you're growing all these plants, especially for insects, like to allude to what both of them have said, you're growing an ecosystem that can hopefully help the predators to those pests that you don't. Dragonflies, breaking-in wasps, all of the above. Keep it moving.
Oh, yeah. Oh, with that being said, guys, I didn't tell you this weekend. I had a praying mantis hanging out on my maypops, like sitting there right on the flower. And I was just like, dude. And it's so funny because the day before that, I took a bunch of video. I had maybe 6 or 7 caterpillars all on that. I'm looking at it now. I'm looking at it outside. All hanging out on that passion fruit. Next day, praying mantis just sitting there chilling. I'm like, ooh, he must be cool because I didn't see not one caterpillar.
You know what I love about praying mantis? Like praying mantis, they don't give a damn what they're eating. And literally, if they're in a fight with something, they will grab it and they will start eating it before the fight is even over. Like they just start eating. The thing's like still trying to fight, and they're just, I'm over eating.
Yep, totally.
Most def. And to go back into pesticides, because I do see the comment at the bottom. I know a lot of us are fearful of pesticides, but anything you put onto your gardens, in order to keep a pest away or to get rid of a pest is a pesticide. Whether you make it yourself or you get it from a grocery store. The thing is, though, when you make it yourself, who's to say what the lasting effects would be? So that's the thing I'll say.
Right. Yeah. And a lot of times people get really hung up on things being natural versus man-made, right? And remember, arsenic, mercury, lead, those are all naturally occurring elements. And you wouldn't want any of that anywhere near any of your food. So something being natural does not make it inherently good, and something being man-made does not make it inherently bad. So find out what the thing actually is and what the effects of the thing actually are. And don't reject them just out of hand because they're a pesticide or because they're man-made. That doesn't make something good or bad.
Yeah. And you know what? If you always have questions, or if you ever have questions, you can check with us. But I'm going to tell you another source. And we've talked about it every single episode because it's just that important. Your local ag extension. Check on the website for your local ag extension. Now, you probably couldn't put a brand name of a product on because your local ag extension won't endorse any brands. But if you say, hey, what does copper fungicide do? Boom, it will tell you what copper fungicide is. Copper fungicide is an active ingredient in a lot of fungicides that's commercially sold, just so you know. But that's what I'm telling you. I'm giving you an example. You can ask those questions. You can do those searches right there on your local ag extension's website, and they'll tell you the hard code, scientifically based facts.
Someone asked a question about red wigglers.
Red wigglers.
What was that?
That was the person from the beginning.
Okay. Oh, the one that said roundworms, they meant red wigglers.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Big difference. Yeah, red wigglers are great.
Yeah. They're great for your vermiculture if you're doing that and all that stuff. Yeah, definitely great. Peppermint, great deterrent. Yes, peppermint is a great deterrent for insects. Any good plants to use for natural pesticides in Georgia? I think you probably mean companion plants more so than pesticides.
They probably mean there's people who would be like, I put this lemongrass in my water and it's a pesticide. They probably.
How when you say it with that voice, it's like
I try not to. I can't sometimes help myself, but it's a video I'm thinking of. Guys like, I do it. He's here in North Carolina. It makes me sick to my stomach. But go ahead, keep going.
Hit Up Extension. It's your county extension. They have really weird, awkward names, but every county has like a agricultural like support system that the government has put in place. And they're usually your county ag extension or some other stupid name like that. But it's something that people can use as a resource. You can just call them up or Google them or email them, and they'll help you out with whatever gardening problems that you have. And it's great because they know your area because they're in your county.
Yeah. Or you can just research your state ag extension too, and that'll give you the breakdown of what each county's information is too. So it might be easier to search state.
So when it comes to like making your own pesticides, there's a lot of things you can try to get an extract. People say tobacco, I see that in the comments. People talk about mint and lemongrass. But when you're getting these extracts, you need to make sure the chemical you're pulling out can actually be extracted by the method you're doing, which most often than not is just soaking in water. Most of you will just soak something in water and you've made a tea. And that tea is not a pesticide, it is a tea. Even tobacco, you soak them in some water. I know there's some old Southern agriculturalists who will talk about collecting old cigarette butts and putting them and soaking them in water in a tea can, a tin can. This is some real country backwoods stuff. I'm telling y'all my secrets. And they will do that and then spray it on to keep some of their plants away. And while that could be probably more effective because of the nicotine that you're probably extracting out, nicotine is also very poisonous, and you have to be careful because a small amount can make you sick or make you go up yonder. So what I typically tell people is, if you have the finances, go to your local garden center and get an organic pesticide, right? You can see the OMRI list, OMRI, and you can see the registry to see what the people have.
And just so to piggyback on that OMRI list, I'm glad you mentioned that OMRI list. Okay, so you have natural, you have organic, and then you have OMRI. OMRI, they put it through the most tests that there are possible. I mean, they run it through every test feasible. So when you're talking about OMRI, like OMRI's a real deal.
All right. Someone also said a great resource is the master gardeners of your area. Now, Grant, you are a master gardener. How would people, can people reach you through the county extension that you're in? Like, how does that
put up a bat signal and get you?
Yes, garden signal.
Yeah, you gotta put up like a monstera.
I like it. No, unfortunately, folks can't reach me directly, but you can reach our local. Because, like for instance, I'm a master gardener out of Ellis County, Texas. So, being in Ellis County, they can contact Ellis County, and they can, for instance, let's say, going back to your example from before, that you work with a local school, right, Andre? Well, say you needed some additional help, and you needed somebody to come out to do some massive amount of planting with you. You could contact your local your local master gardeners, and they might send you a couple of volunteers. Because here's the big thing, because a lot of people say, oh, great, you're a master gardener, so you can grow everything in the world. No, I'm going to tell you what a master gardener is. A master gardener is a volunteer. It's someone who's grown for a while, knows about gardening, and they're willing to come and help you basically for free. Now, there may be a fee you may have to pay to like the master gardener as a whole, but the individual master gardener, I don't get paid to come out and help you. I'm doing it because I want to volunteer. That's what a master gardener is. So yeah, definitely reach out to your local county offices, and they can hook you up with the local master gardeners. They can come out and help you. And these range from everything from herbalists to arborists. I mean, there's a whole gamut of different master gardeners out there.
All right, well, guys, I think we are running out of time. One last question: opinions on aerobic versus anaerobic fertilizers.
I was going to say, can we hold that and the conversation about KNF and JADM until next time? I need way more time.
That's a whole topic. How about next episode we do it on fertilizers?
Yeah, fertilizers. Let's talk about that. So, Red, you come back
Come back
because
next week.
there is a fertilizer I know that I use that is made by that.
All right, guys. So, anything to say, guys? Any last parting words?
I just want to say I appreciate your time and talk to you again real soon.
All right. Derek, what do you got to say to the people? What do you want to...
I know these pests may make you want to throw your pager out the window, right? Because there's a bugaboo, right? But I don't want you to be fearful of them. I want you to make sure you go to your local cooperative extension, agricultural extension, your extension agent, whatever they're called in your area, and make sure you know what pesticide or mechanical cultural control, whatever have it, to be able to keep your plants together.
All right. Well, you know what? I once heard a wise person say that, you know, if the animals and the pests are not eating your garden, then your garden is not a part of nature. So, you know, rejoice. And another saying that I heard was, you know, when you're growing food, you got to grow for yourself, for your family, for your friends, for the thief, and for the animals. So, you know, so grow in abundance and you'll have plenty and you won't mind the rest of nature taking your portion out of it. But if you guys have any questions, you guys can directly message us on any of our platforms. We are all on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. And we will be here again next Monday. We're here every Monday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. It's the Dirt on Garden podcast. Thank you for watching, guys. See you later.